I told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told the plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I told my plug I need 100 pigs. Now my shoebox got 100 G. I'm in Cali every week. I go hard.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to facebook.com/New Haven Independent or go to your Facebook page, look us up, and hit see first. That way you get to see all the great shows that we got here on 103.5 WNHH New Haven Independent, including Breaking the Mainstream Media with Harry Draws and the Joe Ugly Show in the morning and Love Babs and the Mayor has a show and the Jazz
Mayor
Show.
Monday, yeah, that was on earlier today.
The Cool Jazz and Blues Show that's on right before us. So there's all kinds of good stuff going on.
And if you hit that like button and show first on Facebook, it becomes that first thing that pops up right as you open that app. So it's really cool. I just tried that out and it popped right up.
So every Monday, 1 o'clock, just make sure you're ready to roll here. Now, so Kebra is absent this week. She is up there in Hartford helping out people getting their medical marijuana cards. It's a good thing. I'm going to have her call in a few minutes. But I just wanted to touch base with you, Lou, see how your weekend was and what's going on.
How was your weekend, Joe?
My weekend was very uneventful. Oh, well, I went to a concert up in Mohegan Sun.
Very nice.
I had a good time.
Very
I saw
nice.
Foreigner.
Oh, very cool.
It was fun.
At the Tetrahydra Club, they had their first annual Christmas dinner and pop-up by our friend Eve from High
did you
Beautiful.
go?
Yep, that was just a small thing. We donated some things to their raffle from Present Naturals and Pay and Toke. So that was more of a beginning, cost-effective, super small. Hey, I got a phone call.
Yeah.
You
nice.
mind? Yep, I got you. And we didn't stay.
Just dropped it off and left?
Just a little support and kind of keep it moving because Jessica and I had Jessica broke her phone. And Sprint and I became great friends this weekend.
Or enemies.
Enemies.
One or the other.
Total enemies.
I hear you.
But, that's how that goes with that. So that took up a lot of time. Sunday was spent with the in-laws. My mother-in-law came by with her husband. The kids,
Nice.
The whole mix of children's and family and everything. So that was for Sunday.
A lot of love around
A lot
the
of
house.
love around the house. Yeah, we did a couple pretty cool things. I went up to an event in Massachusetts, in Agawam. So one of those pop-ups.
Oh.
So that was pretty cool. You got to go out of state. It sucks.
I know. I've had to do it myself.
Yeah, but the social atmosphere is awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's pretty cool where you can see a few vendors, some people, zero negative
hassles,
zero
no
hassles,
hassles.
Zero negative interactions. It's pretty cool, that whole farmers market idea. It's still a gray market, but
we got to get it while it's still here.
Yep.
Because
but we get to enjoy the time up there and we hang out and
it was fun. So last week we talked about Massachusetts. Speaking of Massachusetts, the first day did 440,000, right?
Yeah, did you see those new
numbers? So the new numbers, yes, the new numbers after 5 days, and I know this has been out on the news and everybody's heard it, but we're $2.2 million in 5 days between
two
dispensaries.
Just two.
Not even in that great of areas. They're not in Boston. They're not in Springfield. They're not in major cities.
And the long lines have dissipated. So now it's just the lines inside the building. You're going to wait about a half
once
hour.
You get in,
Yeah, you're going to wait about a half hour, but the lines are moving. So figure heavy traffic, but not that ridiculous traffic.
Not what it was the first few days. Right.
So, you're going to get in line. You're going to wait 30 minutes before you get up to the cash register and make your choices. But that's because people are taking 2-3 minutes to make their choices and kind of going from there,
Well, guess what? That happens here sometimes at the dispensary.
Here. That's right.
So it's no different. And it's the convenience of being able to buy, without a medical card with just your ID. So
it's
kudos to them.
it's a lot of, as everybody guessed, it would be that demographic that has a harder time finding cannabis on the black market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I think the state made over $356,000 in 5 days. So I'm sure Charlie Baker is very happy up there. So good for Massachusetts.
Yep.
I'm very, very happy for them.
And they have a couple more opening up very shortly.
More opening up very soon. Now, one guy who's not happy about it up there in Massachusetts is the mayor of Boston. Now, do you know about this guy?
I've heard a couple things.
Marty and I had a little interaction one year.
Did you?
Oh, yes. When NIC, me and Kara, Marty was a speaker at the event that we had a booth at.
Yes, sir.
And Marty was a speaker, and so we confronted him.
Was
Marty,
he the mayor?
Why won't you? He was the mayor, but there wasn't legalized weed. This was before 2016.
Okay.
So we confronted him, and we said, Marty, why won't you legalize weed? Legalize weed. Legalize weed. Why are you holding up the medical programs? And he came up to us and he said, I just don't think it's the right time for Massachusetts to legalize weed. You know? And I'm like, oh, come on, buddy. But
That's crazy.
And so Marty Walsh, the mayor of Boston, is afraid. He's worried about the human toll of marijuana addiction.
Whoa.
So he says, we talk about the taxation like it's a great infusion of money because of selling marijuana. And I just hope the human toll is okay. Now, what people don't know about Marty Walsh, and he readily admits this, is that he's a recovering alcoholic.
Right.
Right. And he makes a big deal out of it. Kebra's on the line, but I want to continue this with her. Kebra.
Hi, y'all.
Hey. We were just talking about Massachusetts. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Hey,
Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt. Keep going.
Yeah. So we were talking about Marty Walsh, who is the mayor of Boston, and how he has come out and said he's really worried that drug addiction is going to increase because marijuana sales have become en masse. So one of his...
because nobody was using cannabis before, right?
Right. And we all know, and he's come out and said it. This is not talking out of church or out of turn, and talking behind someone's back. He's a recovering alcoholic.
Right.
So one of his quotes says, he says, some people can drink alcohol and not get addicted to alcohol. I can't. Some people can smoke weed and not get addicted to drugs, and some people can't. And he's worried about the human toll that cannabis could have on Massachusetts. There's going to be unintended consequences. So what's your thoughts on that? Here's a man who's a recovering alcoholic, right? But he sponsors beer gardens on the Boston Commons every year. Marty Walsh has a big beer party every year. And he has no issue with that, or no issue with Boston being probably one of the biggest drinking towns.
Yeah, if not
country.
the biggest. It's pretty big there. It's St. Patty's Day is celebrated pretty heavily up that way.
Yeah. So I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Keeb?
I mean, it's just a lack of education, period. Because if he really understood cannabis and the way in which it works with our endocannabinoid system, and that there's a really, really small amount of people in the entire United States world that get addicted. I believe in the U.S. it's less than 9%.
Yep, it's 9. They said 9%
of users, of consumers, not less than 9% of people in the in the United States, but
less than 9% get addicted. That's right.
So that's a really small fraction of people who are addicted, and I'm pretty sure that they maybe have other underlying issues that have caused the addiction. The effect of cannabis, people continually use cannabis and use more, is because it's effective,
right?
And because people say to me, well, I've had people say to me like, would you ever stop consuming cannabis, smoking, whatever they say? I'm like, why would I? It makes my life better.
Right.
It makes me feel better. And a lot of people have that type of response. Hey, it deals with my pain. I'm not going to stop. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to find a way to be able to medicate,
differently
during the day too, so that I'm not having pain, or whatever that is. So really misguided,
We-
and it really is creating a lack of accurate information that is going out into the masses, and it's just kind of irresponsible. There's a lot of information out there right now, so he could have found out that that's not even a realistic conversation for him to be having, but
Yeah.
instead he's choosing to just be ignorant and say whatever's on his mind.
Yeah, he
So
puts his own
like
beliefs
you
into
said,
it.
if he's a former alcoholic and supporting beer gardens, well, that's just showing the hypocrisy right there.
Right.
Cannabis is a big thing. If you want to get in the newspaper or on the news right now, just go somewhere and try to talk about cannabis. So I guess he wanted a little shine, and the shine just made him look a little ignorant.
That's all. You're absolutely right. He just needed a little shine, Those marijuana,
Yep.
all that $2.2 million took precedence over everything else. So he just
Exactly.
had to make sure he threw in his own 2 cents. I kind of agree with you on that, Kebra.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just telling
I
Lou.
mean, it's a topic to talk about. Like, if people say, like a lot of people are cropping up now with all these events and all of these
Educational forums,
expos
yeah.
and educational programs, and it's just like, what have you all been putting into work? Like, have you been really kind of studying and learning, or are you just trying to hop on a bandwagon?
You know what they're putting in
right now?
The money. That's all
Yeah,
these are people with money who want, they're like wannabes, I hate to say it. I don't want to talk, but you know what I'm saying. They come in now. But yeah, no, I agree with you, and it has been proven that cannabis is one of the least addictive substances, even below alcohol and nicotine. So he really doesn't have a leg to stand
And then
on.
what does addiction do to you? I mean, do you hear about people who are addicted to medical marijuana who go and rob stores and banks and beat their wives and sell their children
No.
to be able to obtain cannabis? I mean, it just doesn't affect. It doesn't have the same effect. It shouldn't even be catted in the same category as alcohol. Alcohol definitely changes people's everything about a person.
Yeah.
They become a totally different person under the influence of alcohol, and it can have and alcohol is directly related to car accidents and murders and homicides and domestic violence.
And that's proven.
That's not the case with cannabis.
That's right. That's all proven facts.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, absolutely. So, Kebra, what's on the horizon here with the dispensaries? Has anybody heard anything about new approvals yet?
No word.
It was supposed to be done
No
by the end of the
word.
month, right?
Well, I mean, that's what I have. The Department of Consumer Protection never said that they were going to make an announcement by any particular date. These have all been rumors that we've been hearing. But as of yet, DCP has not, I'm actually on their website right now, and they have not listed any new publications or any, what's the word I'm looking for? Press releases that state that they've made any changes as of yet, or any decisions as of yet. So we're just waiting.
Now, do you think they're holding it up for legalization?
I hope they're holding it up for me.
Right? They had to make a longer decision. That's right.
But honestly, I think recreation is making them a little uncomfortable. How adult use is going to affect, or how they're going to rein in adult use. How they're going to implement the program. So I don't think that they're in a rush necessarily at DCP to get adult use popping.
No, I don't think so either.
No.
I don't even know that they're going to be in charge of it if they do.
Right.
I think they're going to.
I think they will.
You think so? They won't make a separate Cannabis Control Commission like Mass?
Not if home grow isn't a big part of it, because they'll continue to put it under the Department of Consumer Protection.
Well, yeah. Interesting
already got it.
Yeah, I agree with Lou. I think that a cannabis commission would be like a subdivision of DCP.
Yeah.
They'd keep it under there just because they want to make sure that it's the whole consumer thing, and that's gonna come out of from medical into rec. especially under
Right.
rec.
Hold on 1 second, guys.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
we can't have dead air.
Yeah.
We have to talk, even though she's off. I agree with you. And it's interesting. I was listening on Channel 8. You know how they have the Capitol Report there on Sundays?
Yep.
And the first thing they were talking about was legalized weed.
Yep.
And one of the guys there, one was very opposed to it. You could tell he was a big Republican.
Yep.
But one of the guys there put it right out there and said, listen, can't those dispensaries just start selling weed recreational right now if they wanted to? And they said, yeah, if they changed the laws, they could just change them over to recreation. Yep. So, I mean, the people are floating that idea out there, and these were pundits on TV.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's
they understand.
Yeah.
They understand 100% that with legalization, how they enact it is going to go a long way. Michigan they enacted last week.
Yeah, and they were ready December 6th, first day of sales.
They're going.
They're ready.
They're up and going. And
they've been preparing for this for a while.
Correct.
Vegas, how quick did they flip it?
Overnight.
But that's because they flipped their whole medical program right over.
That's what they did and created a very consumer-based program with the tax incentive for medical users, which is fine because as a reciprocity, I enjoy that law too. You know what I mean? We get to go out to Vegas and we don't pay taxes on our bud.
Right. This is true. You're on your mids, you mean?
Yeah. I just said my bud. That was all. There's a ton of stuff.
Well,
listen, it is.
Why is that? I was talking to. Why is that they're right next to Cali, but yet the quality there isn't up to the same par?
I think that the same thing goes with California. Mass growers grow mass quantities of cannabis,
right?
So the quality isn't necessarily the same as the boutique market. So if you think of 3 different tiers of indoor versus 1 tier of outdoor. Hey,
is that our other caller? Yeah, bring him in. I can't keep him on hold.
Hey.
Hi. Is this Christina?
This is Christina.
Hey,
Hi,
how are you, Christina?
Joe, do you have a bio for our
How's
friend?
everybody doing?
Well, no, Christina's going to tell us about herself. Right. Christine, this is Christina Eva from Parents for Pot. And I wanted to have Christina on today because Christina and I are Canna Warriors. And we have been working tirelessly over the past at least 3-4 years, trying to make improvements to the medical program and also trying to help get this adult use recreational bill into law. And Christina, it looks like finally this year we may have some progress.
It does. Very exciting.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you're up to. You not only work for you work with Parents for Pot. Obviously, that's a nonprofit, so it's not really a job, but it's
love.
It's done for love. That's just why we all do this. What you also work with Prime Wellness, but more with the patients, right? You don't actually sell weed. What am I saying? You don't actually work at the front end of the dispensary dispensing medicine. You actually work with the patients more as a compassion counselor. Is that correct?
Correct. So I work very closely with the patients, kind of as an intermediary between the patient base and the dispensary itself, the other departments in the dispensary, doing a lot of follow-up, checking in, making sure that they're aware of any changes to the program, things of that nature.
Right. Now, is this something that all the other dispensaries have? Because I don't know of any other dispensaries that provide this service. They obviously have that, that initial consultation that you go in and they try and help you figure out your medicine.
Pharmacist, correct.
But after that, you're pretty much talking to the pharmacist, and then
or the tech or whoever, and it's just kind of going, right, Joe?
Yeah, but you're the other layer.
Yes.
Where if somebody's having an issue with their medicine or their dosing, or they need to know a particular strain or get some advice on the best way to take their medicine, you're that person they can talk to on a regular basis, not just once.
Right. Right. When we're doing outreach or when they reach out to us and they say, listen, I'm having some concerns, some questions, some changes, I'm able to be kind of that front line so that it takes some of the stress off the pharmacist, but also off the patient, having to get a hold of a pharmacist, to sit down with them, With me, they can just kind of reach out, drop a line, and it's very comfortable for them.
Well, I think it's great. I think every
Yep.
dispensary should have this layer of service. I mean, it would really, I believe, improve the medical program and improve the patient's, experience with the whole medical program.
100%.
And,
Absolutely, full circle.
yeah, and now that your company, I guess, has 2 dispensaries, maybe you can talk the other one into opening up something down on that side.
Oh yeah, patient-centered care is always going to be the best care, especially in a program like this where patients have a lot of control. They do need additional guidance or support, and that's a huge part in healing.
Well, I really think with, we talk about recreational, with the advent of recreational possibly coming in this year, I think this is possibly what could differentiate the medical from the recreational.
Mhm.
Whereas if you are a medical patient, you get these kind of services to actually help you heal yourself. Whereas if you're a recreational customer, you are just going in there and getting, your weed. But then again, if you needed those services, they would be there for you, So I think
Absolutely,
it's
that is a big part that differentiates. And what we see now program is that maybe not everyone needs that level of care or follow-up and quality and consistency. So with the introduction of an adult use program, we may see, some of those resources become even more available for these patients who really, truly need them.
right. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. How do you think, and we don't know how Connecticut is even going to implement a adult use program,
Mhm.
but how do you think the adult use program is going to affect the medical program and either, the efficiency of it or even the quality and the consistency of the medicine that comes out? Because what they've discussed.
I think there could be some major benefits to the medical program, one of which I just mentioned, kind of opening up what we have available through this this wonderful medical program for these patients as far as quality care, quality product, testing to, that level. And then also on the other end, I would like to be sure, and it's hard to say at this point, that we do keep these two things separate and we make sure that, the patients are not forgotten in the whirlwind that will be adult use when we start to see money coming in through that side of things, that, we don't get left behind.
Well, that's
kind of wanting and waiting.
that's what we have to look at, because let's be real, these 4 cultivators want first crack at rec.
Mhm.
They would like the only crack at rec, and there is no way that they can supply the demand for the
No.
market of both. So that's the only thing. But I mean, and honestly, I wouldn't doubt if that is part of the deal they made with the state, that when rec comes, we get first crack. I don't know how much backdoor dealing was done, but I know that they want to get their hands on it in some way, shape, or form. And I don't want to say rightfully so, but they were the pioneers here. As much as we don't like them, they were the first. They were the only 4. They did put up all that money to help get the medical marijuana program. Maybe there is some validity to their claim, but I think they'd almost have to open up separate grow, you know what I mean, for adult use in order to
Right, and
keep up with
I
it.
do believe in, without sounding too crazy, I do believe that to a degree, the reason that we are not able to keep up, or they are not able to keep up at this point with the quality and consistency of the product that's being delivered to patients as far as what's available, is because this program at this point, without having an adult use program in place, is actually feeding more people than they're aware of.
Right.
So, potentially seeing as things come about, how everything falls into place, we may see that things start to actually balance themselves out. But I do think that there should be, just like we see maybe in mass upcoming, different levels to licensing, so that we don't shut the people out who maybe need it the most.
Right, and I think we are a much smaller state, and that's how they kind of justify this. Oh, well, we can handle it.
Right.
We're so small, and our population is so much smaller, and we're a little more condensed, and
Well, if
whatever.
we introduce some type of home cultivation, we'll be able to really help it out a lot. And home cultivation for medical patients, at least, where the dispensary can now have the choice of selling seeds. It's a whole new profit revenue for them as well. They can sell their genetics, they can sell clones, they can add to their item list for the patient. You know what I mean? So meaning now you can only get the genetics from, the dispensary. But if a clone is 15, $20, why not, right?
Yeah, and they're starting up in mass.
Absolutely. And those facing financial hardship, those who may have hardship coming into a dispensary, that would be great for them. Also, things that aren't offered through the program, such as fresh plant material, that can be hugely beneficial for patients.
Oh yeah.
And that's just something we cannot obtain in our state, which is unfortunate.
Right, and that's the thing. And unfortunately, the people who have really come out against home grow, and Brian Center was telling me this, was the Connecticut Pharmaceutical Association came right out and said, we do not recommend home grow for your medical marijuana program. They're totally against it.
And maybe a part of that could be stemming from the level of quality control. But I think what we should have looked at even in the beginning of this program, seeing even with what we have now, is the opportunity for the public to be able to have their items tested on their own, just for quality assurance,
Right.
and their own ease of mind.
Which you can do in Massachusetts right now. So,
Right.
yeah, I'm hoping we get a more Massachusetts-style legalization here than just a continuation of our medical program. And of course, that's why you and I and we're out there fighting the good fight all the time. Tell us a little bit about Parents for Pot.
So Parents for Pot is a national organization, and each year we do a holiday drive, and that drive consists of families who are in need of assistance during the holidays, who are facing hardship due to prohibition. And that could be for many reasons. These could be pediatric patient families who, have hardship because of their situation. It could be families who have been torn apart by prohibition, maybe have a father, mother, other family member who is incarcerated during the holidays, who is not able to be there and provide for their family, and they may need a little bit of help. So we have a lot of information up on the Parents for Pot website, which is parentsforpot.org. And you can find a family, you can read about these families who are facing hardship in our state and across the country, and just help them out a little bit for the holidays, and providing great memories and wonderful holidays where they don't, struggle. Locally, for Parents for Pot, as Connecticut Parents for Pot chapter president, I wanted to mention that we do have a toy drive that we'll be doing from now until the 20th of December, and you'll be able to drop off a new on-wrap toy that will go to somebody in the cannabis community in Connecticut, directly to their family. And you can do that either by dropping off a toy at Community Allied Services in South Windsor, or reaching out to really anybody in the cannabis community, but also directly to me, and we can always set something up for that.
And you're up attached to Prime Wellness up there. So anybody who is a patient.
Right in South Windsor on Route 571 John Fitch Boulevard.
Right. So anybody who is a patient there, they can drop off their packages there. Maybe, yeah. Okay.
Patients, non-patients, it doesn't matter because we are a separate entity than the dispensary. Anybody can come in, get information about the program, ask questions, things of that nature, but also see what's going on in the cannabis community, see if there's anything they can do to help, or if they would like to volunteer some of their time.
It's a great resource you have up there. And you also run a support group.
Absolutely.
Now, when are you doing yours now? When is it?
Every third Thursday of the month, we have the support group. This month, it will be the second Thursday of the month because we have the Connecticut normal holiday party on the 20th. So we'll be looking more for, I can't think of the date off the top of my head, but the second Thursday of the month. December.
This month, right. Perfect. Yeah, well, send me a reminder of that, and I'll announce it on the air, next week, and I'll keep announcing that now that I know what date it is. Because we also do the one down here on the first Wednesday of the month.
That's right.
We're supporting the state on both ends, right?
Right. Everybody is really great at supporting the community, and we encourage everyone to step up and come out and make sure that you're a loud voice within this community. especially patients, because we are protected. We really need you guys to come forward and stand up for those in the community who maybe are not able to do so on their own.
Yeah, here's what the patients don't realize, that if we lose our medical program, let's say it gets turned into rec, you're probably looking at THC limits, correct? You're looking at longer lines. You're looking at not as personal service. While you may be able to get more products, they may not be as powerful, and they may not be the right ones that you need, because I believe the rec market is different, and different strains are more popular than what is usually used in the medical for medicine. So you're not going to get a ton of high CBD strains.
Right.
You know, you're going to see the typical Blue Dream, Sour Diesel, all the commercial strains that people know and love, and not some of these ones that they've actually come up with that work pretty well, that are more medicinal.
For particular medicines, where they're not the room fillers, one might say, but they might stretch a little bit more. They take a little bit longer to grow. There's other variables, unlike those mass production strains that are in there. And that's what we tend to lose when we go to that larger mass production scale, because it becomes mass produced.
Yeah. They're not going to grow as much high CBD. They're not going to grow those 50-50 strains because, well, rec patients want to get high. They want THC.
Right. They want that heavy THC, and they want to be able to do the job. You know? And it's silly because and Christina, you probably get this a lot because you are the outraged patient person. But how many times do you hear a baby boomer generation go, I just can't do that crazy stuff you guys got now? You know?
Yes, I do hear that a lot. It's, just for mostly lack of education or knowledge being available, but that is a real concern. Not everybody belongs in an adult use program without guidance and without support.
Yeah, this is why you have those emergency room visits.
We do have a really valuable program in Connecticut. And if it can be utilized properly and continue to kind of grow the way that it has, but really have these things in place for patients to continue to support the patients and the patient base, then we'll probably see this become a wonderful program to gain, a lot of information to help other people in other states. So, it's a valuable program. We cannot lose it. I don't foresee that we'll lose it with a recreational program, but that doesn't mean that people shouldn't come forward and voice that when legislative session starts, that they have a concern.
Right. And that's what's most important. I know at Normal we're putting together kind of our legislative agenda, which includes grow rights, which includes fair and equitable licensing, which includes expungement for felons. I mean, there's a lot of things we need to see in this bill here in Connecticut so that it works for everybody and not just the wealthy, or the pharmaceutical companies or the liquor companies or whoever has the big money and always seems to, win.
That's right. And while we know, we are almost positive a bill will go through to legalize cannabis for adult use. What we don't know is how that will look. And I think that the constituents in this state are going to really have to come forward and be a voice and say, this is what we need to see, because the big money's out there, the producers are in there, really making known what they want to see. But without us, we can't guarantee that it's going to be something that's valuable to our communities and to our people who really want to see that happen. Right.
And that's the most important thing.
Correct.
Yeah, that is the most important thing. So, Christina, how do people get in touch with you? Do you have an email? You have the parentsforpot.org, right? When that's a 4, right? Not FOUR, it's the 4, number 4.
Yep, so it's parentsforpot.org. You can go on there and look at the holiday drive, which is national.
Okay, good.
You can also reach me by going to the Facebook page for Parents for Pot Connecticut, or you can reach out to anybody in the cannabis community and they can get you in touch with me very easily.
Or up at Prime Wellness. What is the name of your?
Yep, at Community Allied Services in South Windsor. You can always reach out to us there. I am always available Monday through Saturday, pretty much all day.
And that Christine is a great person to call if you're out there listening. If you need any advice, on
A wealth of
strains,
knowledge.
on medicating. Very, very good person to be in touch with, especially if you're up in that area. And Christina, thanks for
Absolutely.
calling in. We will see you at the normal fundraiser on the 20th, where Parents for Pot will have a table, right?
Oh, yes.
That's right. We look forward to it. Make sure you bring a brand new unwrapped toy so that you can come in for just $10. We'll have a lot of entertainment and we'll have food. So that's going to be really exciting, Joe. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Christina. Thanks for calling in. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Bye, guys. Lots of love.
Love you
Bye-bye.
too. Bye-bye.
She's awesome.
Yeah, Christina's great. She is like, when you look at Christina, she's a real warrior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
She gets out there and fights the fight, and she's right there on the front line. I'm going to have text Kebra and see if she wants to call back in.
But until that, let's pay the bills. And then
Let's pay the bills. Good idea, Lou.
bills
Thank you for reminding me. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We are also streaming live video on Facebook Live. Just go to Facebook.com/NewHavenIndependent or go to your Facebook page and look us up.
That's right.
All right. So, yeah. So we were, we were discussing, Massachusetts, but I ran into an interesting here, Governor Cuomo now. We talked about Jersey last week,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Jersey passed it from judicial,
Mm-hmm.
so now it can go into the floor,
That's right.
their legalization bill. And now New York, of course, Governor Cuomo steps out and says, well, we're going to do it now in 2019 as well.
Right.
He said he expects the state to legalize recreational marijuana in 2019. However, his statement lacked any specifics beyond that. He says, we have a working group that is putting together a piece of legislation that would do it because the devil is in the details. How do you do it? Where do you do it? And what are the ages, etc.? What is New Jersey doing? What has Massachusetts done? So he said legalization is being crafted, and I expect it to be introduced next year.
And they don't even mention Connecticut because it doesn't even matter to them.
No, it's Jersey. Jersey's their big competition. Jersey and Mass.
That's right.
Yes.
And the crazy thing is they have to go through Connecticut.
Yeah. That's what's funny.
Connecticut's
They
not
always
even doing
disregard
anything.
us. It's like a little stepchild. They do that.
Which is okay.
New York always does
It's
that
okay.
to us, right?
It's okay, but
we
do you
support
not
their
see-
sports teams, right?
do you not see how that stance alone shows that Connecticut should do something?
Yeah.
It should do something.
Whatever we do, our prices should be cheaper. Make people want to come from New York to
Yeah.
buy our weed instead.
Why
Our
not?
weed should be better. But they don't think that way up in
Boutique.
the legislators, right?
It's ridiculous.
You really want to be competition, you be competition.
If
All
not,
right.
it's
Hey,
silly.
Kebra.
Hi, I'm back.
Hey.
We were just talking about New York as Cuomo came out and said they're going to legalize weed this year. And we were just saying, he mentioned Jersey and Massachusetts, but he didn't say a word about Connecticut. Because
I know. Yeah, and like we're just like the afterthought. I saw that too, and I remember thinking, dang, he didn't even mention
right.
Connecticut.
But yeah, we support their sports teams, right? We go in there and support all the concerts they have and everything. We put money into New York, right? Because we don't have any
Yes,
sports
we
teams
have.
of our own.
I go to New York all the time.
Right. And here they act like they always have treated Connecticut like their little stepchild though. And I was saying to Lou, we just got to make our weed business better than theirs. Make people want to come to Connecticut to get our weed.
Medical program with all of its flaws and faults is better than theirs.
Oh,
Yeah.
100 times
Well,
better.
it is.
100 times better. Much better variety.
And they're going to go right into recreational,
And they barely have a decent medical.
Right.
Yeah, I think that might be a cluster.
Well, they
Yeah.
have good people
Yeah.
presenting policy to them.
Yeah.
They have our good friends over at Canacultural Association.
Yeah, there's some good
You
New York
know,
people who hopefully
yeah.
will keep them in line.
And if they're looking towards Jersey, there's some really good people out of Jersey. The minorities for medical marijuana, Rainey Soto's
And I
down
do
there,
think
Leo's
that they're
down
having,
there.
like,
I'm sorry.
conversations about equity. New York is already like kind of. We won't arrest anybody anymore.
Right.
we won't do
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I think that issue they will deal with properly. I think what's going to end up in New York, it's going to be just real expensive.
It's gonna be boutique.
They're going to tax,
It's gonna be another.
tax the crap out of
Yeah,
it.
it's gonna be another Vegas and California. But they, like Kebra said, they already stopped arresting people for small scale offenses. So if you're walking around with a little bit of pot in your pocket and you're stopped by the transit police, you're not going to get arrested.
They're getting ready.
They're which is awesome because you're starting to change the mind frame where we haven't done that.
Well, you get a fine.
Yeah,
You get a little ticket.
yeah.
Hey, Connecticut needs money.
I don't even think they're allowed to give out tickets anymore.
Not in New York, no.
City.
Yeah, not in New York.
Just Manhattan.
Yeah.
That's right. Just Manhattan, they're not. So, yeah, they're in that way, they're a little bit more advanced than us. But then again, we don't have any kind of city nowhere near Manhattan here. We don't even know what that city be imagined to manage.
We're more like Long Island and upstate.
Yeah. So, Kebra,
Massachusetts legalizes, and we get a note from the state police.
Yeah, right. We're going to get you.
We're going to get you.
So, Kebra, I mean, being a nurse, I was reading an article about how cannabis can protect the liver. Now, what do you know about this? And how people who abuse alcohol use cannabis, and it actually can help repair their liver and recover from, like, cirrhosis and stuff.
Well, I mean, just by nature of what cannabis can do, overall, I haven't really. The only thing I've heard recently about, or the only thing I've studied recently about cannabis in the liver is the effects on the liver, is with edibles, and that the edibles are broken down in the liver, and so that's why you get that. And you know how it goes from THCA to THC to so it goes into another type of THC, and that's why you get the hallucinogenic effects.
Right.
I could very well see, though, cirrhosis is when your liver is basically not functioning. It's not there. There isn't adequate perfusion coming into the liver, and so cannabis is what is the word I'm looking for? Anti-ischemic. So if ischemia is when there's not adequate blood flow, and so because cannabis can open up those channels, those arteries, those veins, and get things moving, I could see how cirrhosis could be one of the things that is positively affected by cannabis use.
Yeah, they said it reduced people who use cannabis and had abused alcohol. They reduced their chances of developing liver disease by 8%. And then So, I mean, this is a whole nother thing they're going to probably start looking into, but it's just another way that, cannabis can heal us instead of harm us.
That's right.
They're always trying to tell us how it's going to harm us. And I still haven't seen any real scientific studies that show that.
I mean, because all of these pharmaceuticals are processed through our bodies through the liver.
Right.
So, that's damaging.
Yeah.
So terribly. Like, cannabis is natural, and it doesn't have any type of effect like that on the liver at all. Again, like we just talked about, it has the exact opposite effect.
Right.
It encourages perfusion. It encourages just functionality, because cannabis brings your body back to a state of homeostasis, which means everything is working good.
Right. All in order. Right. That's what CBD does. So one last thing I wanted to touch base on here is the Farm Bill.
Yes, sir.
Lou, you posted something up the other day about the hemp Farm Bill, and there was something in it that I wanted to point out. First of all, the hemp Farm Bill, it amends the Controlled Substances Act and takes hemp completely off it.
Correct, sir.
It completely exempts it. No Schedule 5,
no
nothing. Completely exempts it. But what they said could happen is the Farm Bill also means consumers can look forward to a broader, safer access to hemp CBD products. Meaning that the FDA will probably, it says here, furthermore, federal undoubtedly will lead to federal regulation of hemp products. Conceivably, hemp-derived CBD and other products could possibly need to get FDA approval.
Right. And so what a lot of this comes into
that's the only concern I had of it.
So this is where it moves from so with that
Little
certification, right,
Right.
So what happens is
Yep.
the mom and pop has to be able to go through FDA clearance, which is very similar if you do an all natural juice product and you claim that you have all natural this, all natural that. Naked recently came under that issue because they claimed
Yeah, and that's Pepsi.
right. And that happened because they got bought by Pepsi. They were able to make all those
Oh, yeah, of
claims
course,
until
Pepsi
they
did
were
that,
big enough.
Of course.
So while they were small, they were able to put in all the claims and everything they wanted to claim. Then they got bought out by a huge company. So now, just like we talked about once in the past, you're making claims. We're going to
They're not
test your
true, yeah.
claims. Now you have to readjust because we are testing it. So now with this going forward, all the small mom and pop-ish that have been doing it
Like
now.
Jeff.
Yeah, that have been doing it like now, that have been able to maybe get through with maybe a product maybe a little hot or a product not hot or it's not exactly where it is, or if you say 0 THC and it actually has the 0.1 THC, it's still legal because it's under the 0.3.
But it's not what you said.
But it's not what you said. So labeling is going to get stricter. You're also going to look at CBD being moved from the idea of medicine into more of a supplement.
Commercial. Yeah.
So a commercial supplement or a local supplement, an organic supplement. With this also comes the idea of standards. So as regulatory standards start coming into play, and that incurs fines, that incurs fees, that incurs all of that, but now it's legal. You get what I mean? It's legal, but
it's the price we pay
it's
for
the
legality.
price you're paying. So you might find a farmer that, now that it's legal, they can get crop insurance. So now they're growing out the crop, and it has to fall within a certain hotter code. So is it over that 3% THC? No, it's not over the 3% THC. You can harvest it and then go the way it needs to go. But now, say the auditor comes in and tests it, and it's over your 3%. If you're not in Virginia, Virginia has 5%, so they'll let you go through. But if you're over your 3%, with this, it's legal, but now you're hot. And because we're really regulating it, this field is done.
So, right. Your whole crop.
So now your whole crop is done,
Now
but
it's
you
weed.
would also, exactly. So they'd burn it, they'd destroy it, but you would also get paid for that crop because you had crop insurance. So that kind of makes that standard. So you have to hit the standard.
All right. So what do you guys think it's going to do to the industry? Is it going to make it larger? Is it going to shrink it? Or is it going to make it so it costs a lot more to get into it?
I think it's going to make it cost a lot more to get into it. It's going to obliterate some of these mom and pop people, people who are just feeling so entrepreneurial, CBD in their kitchen and packaging. It's gonna kind of obliterate that.
Oh,
it's gonna make it virtually impossible for people to.
Right. So is it a good thing to make it legal?
It's a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Because
it might be a good thing for the farmers because they're at the beginning.
Great for the farmers. It'll be different for the end user. People who are already established in and already have their SOPs put into place, they're going to be looking to get bought out. They're not going to look to be the small mom and pop.
This is what you're going to see. Some of these small companies are going to get bought out by bigger ones who can afford all this regulation.
Correct.
And I think we're also going to see a proliferation of these commercial CBD products.
Right.
CBD shampoo, CBD this, CBD that.
Everything was CBD.
Anything. I've seen it at Whole Foods now. They have a whole CBD
Hemp
line.
Everything.
And imagine how it's going to be when it becomes legal and big people are not afraid to invest into it.
BPA thing, when BPA plastic came out.
I think we should do a class, like Hemp 101, because even I
don't know.
feel like I'm not as well versed with hemp, and so I'm pretty sure, especially with this farm bill and
that sounds great.
Potential.
Why don't we bring John down?
Well, we have a presentation we put together as well. But John's a great option as well. John's a great, very knowledgeable. He has a very, very extensive hemp curriculum that he does in tons and tons of awesome places. He's a viable option.
Yeah.
So we're all in agreement. The hemp farm bill is a good thing, but it's definitely going to change the CBD industry.
It's going to blow it up overnight.
Right. And so us as small entrepreneurs got to find our spot.
If anybody needs something, I have an investment opportunity on the ground.
All right. Let's get into the events. Harry just gave me the 1-minute signal. This Wednesday.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I know. This Wednesday is the Connecticut Medical Marijuana Discussion Group.
Yes, sir.
At Bohemian High from 7 to 9 p.m.
We love those guys.
This Saturday is Infused holiday cooking with Uncle Lou this Saturday at 10 a.m. up here on Temple Street, right next to the Canna Health offices.
So we infuse some CBD stuff, and we'll go from there.
Yes, we're doing gravy, cookies, caramel sauce, and dressing for your holiday meals. Then on the 20th, the Connecticut Normal Holiday Fundraiser, Terminal 110 from 7 to 11 p.m. Bring an unwrapped toy. It's $10 admission. We're going to have comedians. We're going to have cannabis karaoke and a full buffet dinner. So please come down to help support marijuana legalization.
And if you can't afford something like that, if you have an unwrapped toy or something, come on down. Contact me at online through Present Naturals. We're going to be giving away 6 tickets.
Okay,
so if somebody, so 6 people who can't afford it.
I'm excited about this party.
You know, 6 people who can't afford it. We'll
have fun.
Oh yeah.
Put that up online.
You can be in class with the cool kids.
That's it. It's going to be a fun old party. I'm working on some entertainment we're going to have. And then we have January 3rd, the Paint and Toke CBD Social, 5 p.m., 178 Temple Street. We'll talk more about that because it's in January. However, Kebra, give a quick plug to Canna Health and what your hours are.
Yes.
Okay, Canna Health Hartford is open today from 2 to 6, and then on Saturday from 10 to 2, we're at 57 Pratt Street, Suite 405, and in New Haven, we're open Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, Tuesday and Friday, 2 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 2, and our address is 178 Temple Street, Suite 33.
Nice.
Canna Health.
See you next week. Hopefully we'll see you here. Love you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
We won't go far. Blue sherbet stuff to hold y'all. 100 P's on the Bay Bridge, stuck in traffic. If I ever run into Riri, let's make magic. Die doing something you love, it ain't tragic. Heard what I said, it ain't tragic. From the home of lay down, smoking ratchets. Never win when you spell it backwards. I got